Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today is 23rd of September and I welcome you all to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, in this video we are going to discuss entire analysis of Hindu, all articles along with the background and way forward we are going to take which are important for our examination. You can download explainer notes of this particular session from Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. Now, let's start with the analysis. But before that, we will take up an overview of entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles are important in today's newspaper for exam point of view. So, on first page, we have this article, Sports Minister will skip Asiad inaugural as China bars entry of Arunachal players. So, basically, guys, when India-China relations are concerned, over a long period of time, what has happened? Many number of times, for example, if the sports meets are there, China has issued stippled visa to Arunachal players. Many number of times it claims Arunachal Pradesh as the part of the China. And in this particular direction, there is this particular irritant that develops. So recently, what has happened? China has banned the entry of Arunachal players. Okay, so this is something because of which that the sports minister will skip the inaugural. Then moving on, guys. After that, we have these political articles, advertisements, not important. Okay, then in city section, do SU elections, fine, Delhi University Student Union elections. Nothing much important for exam is given. Then we have these advertisements all. Okay, so guys, we'll be moving on in regional section again. The uh, in the regional section again, these advertisements and for regional political issues have been given. Nothing much important is there. We'll come directly to the editorial section. Okay, then guys, in editorial, first article we have India and the great power contest in West Asia. We'll take this particular article for exam point of view. Then a clear message to industry to dispense resolution. It is talking about the ADR. Fine, we will take this particular article. Political red herring that attempt to impeach Biden might backfire against Republicans. Okay, now guys, this article pertains to the political controversy going in America with respect to the impeachment proceeding that have been started against Joe Biden. Again, guys, no need to follow this particular development too much for our GS paper. Fine. Then moving on, we have this ground zero report in Satara, murder during a prayer. So, guys, when we talk about this ground zero report, in this particular report, they do reporting from the ground where the accounts of the people they are conveyed. Okay. Now, guys, so basically, this article is talking about the recent incident where a person was killed by a mob inside a mosque. Now, article doesn't contain much of substance with respect to the examination, so I'll not advise you to go too much in that. Okay, so nothing is important. Then here we have this entire page filled with the political articles. Nothing much important is given here. Supreme Court declines to consider plea for independent audit of source code of EVM system. Now, guys, understand this particular thing that from a long time, this particular controversy is going on that whether the EVM can be tempered or cannot be tempered. Okay. So, in this particular capacity, there was the petition that was filed that the source code which is used in the EVM, okay, that should be audited. That should be audited. But Supreme Court has declined to consider that plea. Fine. Nothing much important has been given beyond that. Okay. Fine. After that, moving on in this particular direction, visa suspension for Canadians. Fine. All these things going on. Okay. Then, guys, here we have an article. Quad ministers hold talks on rule-based order UN reform. We'll take this particular article. Okay. Then Supreme Court rejects petition to lift ban on sale use of firecrackers in Delhi. So basically, guys, around the winter, around the month of October, November, winter pollution problem becomes a very big concern in Delhi, and because of that, there is the ban that has been imposed on the bursting of the crackers. That particular thing. Okay, and then no signal from Vikram Pragyan, no signal from Vikram and Pragyan Space Agency. Okay, so basically ISRO it is hoping to awaken the Vikram lander and rover, but as of now the signal has not been received. Okay, so it actually it is in the deep sleep. Okay, again, guys, as of now, no need to track that particular article too much. Okay, then moving on world page, Ukraine hits Russia's Black Sea fleet base in Crimea. So every day one article on Russia-Ukraine war comes. Okay, day by day development, day by day commentary in the war is not important for our examination. US warns against attack on diplomatic missions. Okay, then guys, we have the business page. Oil price a concern, but no alarm yet. Okay, so basically So basically, guys, when we talk about the recent times, so inflation has become a very big concern. Inflation has become a very big concern. Okay, so basically, though it is there, and even the prices of the basic commodities, they have increased, but the government is trying to ease it, and still they are under control. Okay. Now, one more thing, guys, I am telling you this particular thing, that when we talk about Indian economy, the state of Indian economy is important. Okay, the employment, unemployment, how Indian economy is doing, it is important. But my point is that, guys, every article on inflationary trend, every article where they are talking about that in which direction India's forex reserves are moving, every such development is not important, because A, you will not be able to keep a track. B, these numbers will change by the time your exam will come. Okay, then moving on, and thirdly, guys, these numbers, trends, patterns, they are not even asked in the paper. You will know if you will read the, if you'll see the previous year papers. Then moving on, guys, we have the sports page, and today, as it is a Saturday, two important sections are not there in these today's newspaper. That is a text and context, in which three articles do come, and out of those three, most of the times, two articles, three articles are important. Secondly, science page is also not there in today because it is Saturday. So, guys, today we have selected few articles which actually are making sense for our paper. Okay. One more thing, guys, I have said you earlier also that in newspapers, someday there will be 13, 14 articles that will be there. For example, we often take sometimes 12, 13 articles are there. Some days there will be 2, 3 articles that are there. So don't expect that every day there will be X number of articles that have to come. Okay. So that is one particular thing. Now moving on, guys, and let's start with our detailed discussion on the relevant articles one by one. So as I told you, you can download synoptic notes. In synoptic notes, the detailed notes have been given, and every class we start with a GS quotation that you can use in your examination in GS papers or in essay paper. So today we are going to take the quotation from Dr. Kalam, our former president. So Dr. Kalam says, learning gives creativity. Creativity leads to thinking. Thinking provides knowledge, and knowledge makes you great. Knowledge makes you great. Okay. So basically, learning leads to creativity. Find innovative learning leads to creativity, innovative thinking pattern. It gives you multiple paradigms of thought, multiple paradigms of thinking. This creativity further enhances your thinking. Thinking enhances your knowledge, and knowledge makes you great. So this is the role of learning. You can use it in GS paper number 2, questions related to education, and even in essay you can use this particular idea. Now moving on to next, first article for today. So, guys, we have this article, India and the Great Power Contest in West Asia. So we'll take this particular article. Now, article is talking about the USA's strategy in West Asia, and how USA's strategy in West Asia will impact India, and what India should look in West Asia. Now, this particular article we are going to take up for GS paper number 2. This article will take for GS paper number 2, international affairs. International affairs. Okay. Now, recently, G20 summit has been held. And in G20 summit, there was one important initiative that got announced. And on 11th of September newspaper analysis, we have also taken up the 5 key takeaways from G20 that came. And in that also, we have discussed this particular initiative that author is talking about. Now, as G20 got started, as G20 has been taken up, what has happened? What has happened? There is there is a new project that has been launched and which is being backed by America. This is, just a minute. So basically, India, Middle East, Europe corridor. India, Middle East, Europe corridor. So this is a high profile project that was started in G20, which is largely being backed by the USA. Under this particular project, what will happen? India will be connected to West Asia, and then it will be connected to Europe. There will be, under this particular project, shipping lines will be developed, rail networks will be constructed, pipelines will be constructed, data cables will be laid. Okay, and this is going to be a major connectivity project to counter Belt and Road Initiative of China. This particular project has been brought. Now, this particular year, Belt and Road Initiative of China is completing 10 years, in which China is trying to revive the ancient maritime as the ancient Silk Route. So, and under the Belt and Road Initiative, China is also trying to connect with Eurasia and is sponsoring a large number of infrastructural projects. As a response to that, USA has now supported the India, Middle East, Europe corridor. And it is the part of the USA's West Asia policy. It is the part of USA's West Asia policy. Now, when we talk about West Asia, in USA's West Asia policy has two parts. Number one, it is the continuation of Trump era policy. It is the continuation of Trump era policy. Now, what is this Trump era policy? Now, during the time of Donald Trump, one very important agreement was signed, and that agreement is called as the Abraham Accords. What is this Abraham Accord? In Abraham Accord, USA brokered to restore the diplomatic to start the diplomatic relation between Israel. So first of all, I'll tell you about the Abraham Accord. So in Abraham Accord, what happened? Israel, UAE, Bahrain, Israel, UAE, Bahrain, they established diplomatic relation. Why diplomatic relations were not there earlier between these countries? Because guys, you might be knowing that just after the creation of Israel, there was a dispute going on in the Arab countries and Israel. So all the countries who were on the side of the Arab camp, they did not had a diplomatic relation with Israel. So now the diplomatic relations got started after signing of the Abraham Accord, which was brought by the Donald Trump. So Donald Trump era policy is to bring America's two pillars in the region together. What are two pillars? Israel is an important pillar. Israel is an important pillar for America. And then the other countries, such as UAE, they are also very important. Now understand this particular thing. You need to understand this thing, that America has a one very big problem, concern, or a kind of an enemy in this region, that is Iran. And I have told you in the past also that under the CATSA, countering America's adversaries through sanction act, CATSA act, America even recognizes that their three key adversaries are Russia, Iran, and North Korea. So Iran is in this West Asia region. So against Iran, USA needs more and more allies. And therefore, what has happened? USA wants to bring more and more countries together so that they and US can counter Iran more effectively. So therefore, when Israel, UAE, Bahrain have come together, so USA is consolidating these countries against Iran. So first is bringing the pillars, Arab world as well as the Israel together so that they can counter Iran. This is the first part of the policy. And second part of the policy is that America needs to reassure the countries in this region that America is not exiting West Asia. Now, why this particular thing comes? So basically, you know that 2021, what happened? There was the exit of US from Afghanistan. So USA exited from Afghanistan. Right now, Russia-Ukraine war is going on and USA is fixated on Europe. So countries say that it is the exit of US from West Asia, or clearly basically what has happened, deprioritization of West Asia has happened. So USA wants to ensure them that no, we have not exited West Asia, we are still in West Asia. This is something that USA wants to assure. Now guys, for that particular thing, what has happened in now, one thing guys I want to tell you here, that if you read article, it uses that I2U2, just a minute. If you read the article, so article mentions that I2U2 was started in 2012. Here you can see. But actually, I think this is a mistake that is there in the article, because I2U2 did not got started in 2012. It got started in 2022. So keep it in your mind. I have made a correction also here in the article. So basically in 2022, what happened? Now, understand this will happen because of the Abraham Accord. So earlier in Abraham Accord, US, Israel, UAE have come together. And as an extension of Abraham Accord, this I2U2 was started. What is the I2U2? I2U2 is a grouping of four countries. Which four countries? India, I stands for India and Israel, and U stands for US and UAE. So all these four countries came together under I2U2, and in this under this particular thing, what will happen? Investment will be mobilized to India. Okay, it will become a new platform for economic integration, new platform for economic integration between West Asia, South Asia. Okay, so that the growth of this particular region can come, and also the technological solution, technological support, critical technologies will also be provided largely by the USA. So this is the I2U2 that came. Now, guys, when we talk about India, as India has been included in the I2U2, indirectly India has been made a party of Abraham Accord also. So point is that in West Asia, USA, all the projects that USA is taking up, India is visibly a partner in almost all the projects. Is it clear or not? And if you see, in the start, we have talked about this new corridor that has been developed, that is India, Middle East, Europe corridor. Here also, India is a party. Here also, India is a party. And this India, Middle East, Europe corridor, it will build an economic corridor. I told you, from India's west coast through the Gulf region, through the Jordan, Israel, and then to the Mediterranean, by which India, West Asia, and Europe will be brought together. Okay, now I was telling you that there is a perception that has been created where countries say that US is exiting the West Asia, and US wants to reassure the countries that no, we are not exiting West Asia. So this is an attempt to give that particular message. Okay, however, deprioritization of the region, deprioritization of West Asia has clearly happened. Why? Because of Ukraine war that is now going on. Ukraine war that is now going on. Now, moreover, USA, though deprioritization has happened, but USA cannot exit from this particular region completely. Why? Because if US will try to exit from West Asia, China will come to fill that vacuum, and China will have more strategic headway in West Asia, and USA don't want that particular thing. So US has to stay in West Asia. But at the same time, China is also coming in West Asia. If you remember, guys, we have discussed it earlier also. Recently, what had happened, normalization of relation has happened between Saudi Arabia and Iran, who were big enemies, and that agreement has been brokered by China. So China is also coming in this particular region and trying to become a dominant power. So US and China are contesting in West Asia. Now India needs to play smart game here. India needs not to have this mentality that only one country we are going to take help from. India need to use their strategic autonomy in this particular region and need to take best from both of the worlds. India need to take best from the both of the worlds. Okay. So India should not see this through the prism of another Cold War. We should not put all our eggs in the same basket, US or China. But from both the countries, we need to take our economic advantages. And as this new Middle East corridor has come, it will open up a lot of economic opportunities for India. This economic channel will be created, and India should effectively utilize it, should effectively leverage it. Okay. So that is all, guys, about this particular article. Now, moving on to next article. Moving on to the next article. A clear message to industry on dispute resolution. Fine, a clear message to industry on dispute resolution. Now, this particular article, guys, is largely talking about the Mediation Act 2023. Mediation Act 2023. Now, this particular article will be important for GS paper number 2. GS paper number 2, dispute resolution process. Now, first of all, guys, you might have heard a word many number of times, that is ADR. ADR. What does the word ADR means? First of all, let's understand. ADR means alternative dispute redressal. ADR means alternative dispute redressal. And under ADR, there are many different mechanisms that come, which will try to resolve dispute between two parties without formally approaching the court. Under ADR, there will be the family courts that comes under ADR. There are many such kind of a processes. Sorry, under the ADR, many processes where you exactly don't need to approach a formal court. Outside the court settlement will happen, that will come under ADR. Now, when we talk about ADR, guys, under ADR, there are three very important mechanisms that are often used. First, I will discuss that and then we'll go in this article. So here in this box, I have provided you three most important mechanisms of ADR that are there. Number one is arbitration, number two is conciliation, and number three is mediation. So what happens in arbitration? So in arbitration, there will be an arbitral tribunal or there will be an arbiter. This arbiter will be a third person. Two parties will approach this arbiter and the arbiter will resolve the dispute and will give a final award. Will give a final award. Okay. So there is this particular arbitration. So the dispute will be submitted to arbitral tribunal or a arbiter, and an award. Fine. A dispute a dispute settlement award will be issued, which is binding on both the parties. One. Then second, what happens in conciliation? What happens in conciliation? So basically, in conciliation, there will be a non-binding procedure that will come. There will be an impartial third party. There will be an impartial third party, and this impartial third party will guide the dispute between two parties, and they will be finally a particular kind of a award will come. Now see this thing. Suppose A and B has a dispute. A and B has a dispute. They will go to a conciliator. They will go to a conciliator. Now conciliator will try to come out with a solution and will put solution in front of both the parties. Both the parties are free to accept it or reject it. Once they have accepted it, then that particular award will become binding. So in arbitration, what is happening? There is directly one solution is being given which have to accept. In conciliation, conciliator will come out with a solution and will ask that it is acceptable to both or not. If acceptable, then it will become binding. Okay. And then we have a mediation. Now what happens in mediation? In mediation, guys, there will be a third person mediator. Mediator will not bring any solution. Mediator will help both the parties. Both the parties themselves will arrive at a solution, but mediator will assist. Mediator will assist. So this is arbitration, conciliation, and mediation, and all these are the major types of ADRs that we have. Now, guys, when we talk about India, when we talk about India, when we talk about India, India already has Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996, under which India encourages the arbitration and conciliation. Now, this is specifically encouraged for the civil and commercial disputes. Civil and commercial disputes. And recently, guys, what has happened? The Parliament has passed Mediation Bill 2023, and now it has become Act. So, Mediation Bill 2023 to institutionalize the process of mediation. Now, guys, as per this mediation bill, now understand this thing, for civil and commercial bills, civil and commercial disputes, mediation has become now made as compulsory. Now, what will happen? Now, what will happen? Before approaching the court, the parties in commercial dispute, they have to go for pre-litigation mediation. Pre-litigation mediation. That is, before going to court, you have to explore the mediation. Now, and under mediation, we expect that most of the cases will get resolved. And as these cases will not come to the court, court will not be overburdened. Right now, there are more than 3.5 crore cases that are pending in the Indian courts, and large number of cases are commercial and civil disputes. So these cases will not reach the court. Now, when we talk about this mediation act, it will also help in one thing, that frivolous claims, okay, bogus cases will not be filed in Indian court, because as first there is mediation. In mediation stage, a lot of facts will be discovered, and if it is a bogus case, it will end up there only. It will not go to the court. So this will happen. Okay. Also, now guys, understand this thing, that when there is a dispute between two commercial entities, and when that particular dispute reaches the court, media, limelight, spotlight, all these things come there. And what happens? The reputation of both decline, and then again they cannot go in any kind of trade agreement, any kind of a dealing. But mediation will be a confidential exercise, and as there will be not too much limelight that will come, even after resolution, they can continue their business as usual. Okay. Now, this mediation is also, there is also some concerns that have been raised. Concern is that now it is being made as obligatory. It is being made as obligatory. So under the sword of obligation, it has been now made as an obligatory that they have to go for mediation. Okay. So this particular thing might not be that much effective, because when mediation is effective, when both the parties are willing to go for mediation, that the mediation is the most effective one. So there it has been said. However, there is also one particular thing, that there will be the neutral mediators, which will ensure that no biasness is there in the decision. Further, strict timelines have also been provided, that the case should be resolved, mediation should get completed within 180 days. However, this particular timeline can be extended, but initial timeline is to resolve these cases in 180 days. Further, in this particular act, there is also a provision that If some extreme situation comes, if such kind of an emergency situation comes, there is some exceptional circumstances come, directly parties can reach to the courts also. Okay, it is so there is a relaxation that has also been provided. There is a relaxation that have also been provided. And further, guys, there will also be the Mediation Council of India, Mediation Council of India that will be developed, and this Mediation Council of India will be responsible for ensuring that there are them paneled mediators, for ensuring there is infrastructure for mediation, and the process is being followed. So all these particular things are there. Now, guys, in the past, I already told you that there was the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996. So Arbitration Council of India was also proposed way back in 1996, but up till now it has not been established. Okay, now we find this particular thing that parliament is giving a very clear message that commercial matters, commercial disputes need not to be brought to parliament. Rather, they should be resolved outside the parliament through the mediation. Okay, oh, fine. So this is something that we are giving. Moreover, this particular act also envisages that the mediation service providers, there will be the dedicated institutionalized mediation service providers. They need not only to have professionals, rather they need to have infrastructure, they need to have secretariat, and they need to provide all the facilities for mediation. Now, this particular thing, guys, can be important on a larger scale also. When we talk about India, India is already the home to experienced arbitration. So in commercial disputes, many international parties also coming to India for arbitration. Now, by this mediation act that we have come, and by the adequate infrastructure for mediation in India, which will be developed by these mediation service providers, India can become a global hub for mediation, arbitration, conciliation. And we need to explore this particular dimension. We need to explore this particular dimension. So this is, guys, all about this particular article. Fine. I hope this is clear. Then moving to next article, Quad ministers hold talks on rule-based order UN reform. So basically, guys, what has happened on the lines of the United Nations General Assembly session, Quad ministers, Quad stands for Quadrilateral Security Dialogue. Under the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, there are the four countries that are there: India, US, Japan, and Australia. India, US, Japan, and Australia. Now, recently, the Quad ministers meet has happened. And under this particular meet, now, by the way, this article will see for GS paper number 2 international affairs, groupings of which India is a part. But telling you very frankly, guys, some breakthrough has not come. This is the same thing that is repeated in every Quad meeting. Every Quad meeting, the same script is there, which is being followed. So what has happened? So what has happened in this particular Quad meet? Foreign ministers, they have said that we are committed for free and open Indo-Pacific region. Why free and open? Because countries such as China, they try to distort the law. For example, United Nation Convention on the Law of Seas. Okay, okay, UN clause. So as per UN clause, every country can exercise their control till their EEZ. Now, beyond the region, beyond the EEZ exclusive economic zone is a high sea region. What has happened? China claims entire South China Sea as a part of their EEZ, and which goes clearly against the UN clause. Okay, so rules are not being followed by countries such as China. India wants, and Quad countries wants, that Indo-Pacific should become the region where rule-based order is being followed. Fine. It should be, all the disputes here should be followed by international law. And this same thing has been repeated by the Quad ministers. Further, the Quad ministers has provided that we are committed on countering terrorism, terror financing, cross-border terrorism. Fine. All these things we condemn. Also, they also say that Ukraine war should be resolved. Ukraine war should be brought to a culmination. They have not used any one particular country's name. For example, Russia, they have not said as aggressor. Okay. Then further, they also talk about reviving the Black Sea Grain Initiative. Now, what is Black Sea Grain Initiative? So, Russia and Ukraine are the bread basket of the world, Europe particularly, Ukraine and Russia. Now, but because of the Ukraine-Russia war, grains exports from Russia and Ukraine to Europe are suspended. Because of that, food insecurity concerns have come in Europe. Now, under Black Sea Grain Initiative, Russia agreed that through Black Sea, grain export will continue. But in July, it has got lapsed. So again, it should be revived. Then further, the Quad ministers has also talked about comprehensive UN United Nation reform. particularly expanding the United Nations Security Council membership. And they say that permanent, non-permanent membership in the UNSC is to be increased, and India wants a permanent seat here. Then also, guys, recently we have seen that North Korea and Russia relations have been warming up, and Quad it has condemned North Korea's destabilizing missile launches, missile program. There are also the reports that have come that they are developing nuclear weapons. So all these particular things have been condemned. All these particular things have been condemned. Okay, so that is all, guys, about it. Then further, moving on in this particular direction. Further, the Quad group has also specifically Quad group has also specifically provided that they will be coming out. They have reiterated the importance of Quad Infrastructure Fellowship Program. Now, what is this Quad Infrastructure Fellowship Program? It is a pandemic preparedness exercise. Okay, so that we are better to deal with the future pandemics. Okay, a trusted and secure telecommunication network will be provided. Now, one more thing, guys, that such kind of programs, such kind of initiatives, you don't need to go and do the PhD on this. You can just mention these when you are writing about an international grouping, that what are the successes, what are the key takeaways, and all such things. Okay, then moving on. Mains practice question for today. So today's mains practice question: India should strive to play a major geopolitical role in West Asia, its extended neighborhood, without upsetting its traditional balance. Analyze. GS paper number 2 IR 10 marker question. Okay. So that is, guys, all about it. I hope that you have understood it. And with this, we come to an end to the today's session. So these were the only major articles, important articles for our exam that were there. So, guys, with this, we come to an end. Now we'll be meeting on Monday. Sunday, we keep a day for the revision, because in Sunday, text and context is not there, editorial is not there, then the leisure pages, etc., that they come. Okay, so please revise the entire week's current affairs on Sunday and ensure that the things that you are reading, it's not just ending in the form of notes in your file or somewhere in your computer. Rather, these things should be there in your mind, because then only you will be able to write the answers in exam. So that is all, guys, about it. I hope that you have understood it. Thank you so much. Now we'll be meeting on Monday. Please take care of yourself.